Hi everyone, and welcome to this client makeup tutorial. This is the finished look. We're just going to get straight into it. And so I'm just prepping the face with the Garnier Hydrating Mist. This is the Argan Oil one. They do have a couple of different scents in this one, but this one's probably my favourite. And now I'm just popping some Nivea moisturiser on in Soft. Prepping the skin's really important, so I do this first, let it all soak in, and then I'll go on to eyes. So now I'm prepping the eyes with the P. Louise base in shade 03, and I'm just using a Real Techniques brush just to press this onto the skin. As I've mentioned a few times, you don't set this with powder, you set it by simply tapping and pressing it into the skin. And now I'm using a Molly O'Brien blending brush to put some bronzer basically all over the eye area. So this is the bronzer that I'm going to be using for the face as well, and this is MAC Dark Deepest, and I'm just taking that in little swiping motions, just covering as much area as possible so everything ties in beautifully and I'm not left with the P. Louise base sort of creating a bit of a light area underneath the brows. You'll see how this ties together really beautifully. You've just got to trust the process. So if you have watched any of my videos before and you do notice that my voice is different, it's because I'm a bit unwell. So now we're just using the Zoeva blending brush, and I'm using my beloved Morphe Bronze Goals palette. So this is just a dark brown shade from it. Again, I've said this before, it's really frustrating because they don't have shade names. So it's on the right hand side, second row from the bottom at the very end. So if you're gonna get it, that's the one I'm using. So I'm just putting this in the outer area of the eye and then just blending it slightly towards the inner corner eye and up, but only so slightly. And then I'm going back in again with the P. Louise base. This is to create, again, a little bit of a canvas for the next colour I'm going to put down. If you've put a darker colour down on the eye and you're going to try and put a lighter shadow over it, you're going to lose pigment. No matter how pigmented your shadows are, you are going to lose it. So using this product for doing cut creases or just applying any lighter shadow once you've applied the dark one is just going to make everything pop. So you'll notice now this shadow goes on beautifully. It would not have looked like this before. So again, this is another shade from the Morphe Bronze Goals palette, and I'm just tapping that down with this is actually an Urban Decay Naked palette brush. So it's like the double-ended one. It's honestly the best eyeshadow brush I've ever used for patting on eyeshadow and putting colour on. I don't even use the palette anymore, but this is my favourite brush. I'd probably buy the palette again just so I could use the brush. So yeah, just putting that on in tapping motions. Now for the magic. This is Peach's Makeup Mermaid's Pigment. It is stunning, and you'll see me doing a little bit of a progress video there. So this is sort of like a iridescent type shimmer, so it doesn't have a specific block colour to it itself, but you can put it over literally any colour and it looks beautiful. So as you can see, it just adds such a lovely, like, worldly look to it. So now here I'm just applying the eyeliner. This is the Maybelline gel eyeliner in black. Favourite ever, can't beat it, doesn't dry out, it's amazing. And I'm using this with the Zoeva liner brush. Again, favourite liner brush ever. I don't know what I ever did without it. It's so thin and precise, and you can just get in everywhere with it. So when you're trying to get to the inner corners of your clients, get them to look the other way so you can get into it easily. This helps with accessing the inner part of the eye, but also it helps with flinching. A lot of clients flinch when they can see the brush that close into that area of the eye, so this helps a lot. And now I'm topping that off with, these are Peach's Makeup lashes in style 22. These again are my favourite amazing lashes, and you wouldn't believe the price on these either. So I'm going to put a link down below and you can check them out. I'm going to do a review soon of their lash range, so keep an eye out for that. That will be coming next week. And now I'm just adding some NYX Illuminator onto the skin, just to give myself a nice little glowy base for my makeup. And I just love the way that this sort of helps everything look really glowy and not too matte once you are putting the foundation on. So I'm just tapping over there with a bit of eyeliner where I've applied the glue. I do use dual lash glue, it's amazing. If you have ever tried to pull them lashes off after you've just put them on, you can't do it. So just making sure we can't see any of the glue on that, and then just using again the Maybelline gel liner on the bottom waterline with a little brush. Again, have your client look up. If they can see that brush coming towards them, they're going to flinch, they're going to get watery eyes. It will still happen, some people are really sensitive, but this I've noticed is the best way that you can do this, and it's the only way really, but it does help massively. And then just going on to the other eye again. I think people get concerned with when you're doing this, but I've never to this day poked anyone in the eye with an eyeliner brush or anything. I'm so careful, but it makes it very difficult when people flinch. So, disclaimer, obviously this foundation does not match her skin tone. We all know this, we have eyes. However, this is matching the rest of her body. You can't see it in this video, but she had a lot of tan on her legs and her arms. She had her legs out. So if I was to match her foundation to her face and her neck, then it would look ridiculous. So her legs would be tanned, like super tanned, and her face would be pale white. So it doesn't make any sense. So that was the NARS Barcelona foundation. And now I'm just using a mixture of the e.l.f. Camouflage Concealer and the NARS Creamy Concealer. This is in shade Custard. I'm just mixing the two together to give a really bright under eye look. And again, using that same, I don't know what I was saying to her at that moment in time, but she was frowning. Now I'm just using the same brush that I used for the P. Louise base to tap that in and just making sure that's set down on the face really beautifully. You can use beauty blenders for this, which I do go over with a beauty blender once I've put all my concealer in place, but I find for precision and for really pressing product into the skin, using a brush first really helps get that flawless finish. This is a Real Techniques blender. And now I'm contouring with Makeup Revolution in F12 on this Zoeva brush. So this is my favourite contour brush. I usually either tap this onto the product and then onto the face so I can blend out more seamlessly. I don't always like applying the contour stick direct to the face. You can make a mistake by thinking you've not put enough product on and actually you've put too much on. So using a brush and applying layers can really help with making sure that you're not applying too much product to the face. So just following along her cheekbones, but I don't want that harsh line, so I'm going to go over with the beauty blender over all of that, make sure it all ties in with the foundation, the concealer that we've just put down, and you can see slowly that the skin is coming together. Now we're going to set that under eye with Huda Beauty Pound Cake Baking Powder. Again, this is my favourite holy grail setting powder. So I'm just pressing that on with a damp beauty blender, and we're going to leave that just to sit there for a little while. We're doing under the eyes and just underneath the contour we've just done, just to sharpen that line up a little bit. This powder also helps brighten everything up a little bit, and I love the way that it looks. And now I'm taking a Real Techniques blender brush, and we're using that same dark shadow that we applied to the outer area of the eye underneath the eye. So we're just putting that colour on, and then we're going to go and take away our setting powder. This I just always use like a really soft brush. I'll go over it and just wipe away all of the excess product. You'll see that whatever needs to remain that's attached to the concealer will stay there. So you just do that in a swiping motion. Make sure you go over it a few times. And another little trick that I've been doing recently is taking a little puff, a little velour powder puff, and just making sure that everything's pressed in. Sometimes it's easy for powder to collect, so by going over it like this, I've noticed it gives you an even more flawless result. So now I'm bronzing the face with MAC Dark Deepest, and again a Real Techniques brush. I didn't realise how much I actually use Real Technique brushes, but I've used them quite a lot in this tutorial. I guess I do. So now we're going in with blush I love, and this is from the Zoeva blush palette. It's a palette of 4 blushes, and I tend to mix a couple of them together just to get a really nice blush look. Make sure you apply to the temples of the head so everything ties in really nicely. And now we're going to hydrate again with the Garnier Hydrating Mist. Now for highlights, I'm taking the Doll Beauty Shine Bright highlighter on a Peaches Makeup highlighting brush, favourite highlighting brush ever, and then we're going to add that just underneath the eyebrows on the brow bone and also on the inner corner just to brighten those eyes up a little bit more as well. Now I'm using the e.l.f. brow kit in dark brown, and I'm just using an angled brush for this. I can't remember where this brush is from, it is rubbed off, but it's just a simple angled brush, and she really likes fluffy style brows. She had her brows laminated last time I did her makeup and she loved them, so I said that I would recreate that effect a little bit for her with the brow pomade and the brow gel just to set them into place. She doesn't really need a lot of filling in. It can make it more difficult when people have extremely thin eyebrows, but when they've got a little bit to work with, it's really easy to follow that. And then we're just going to set those in place with the Maybelline brow gel just to make sure they stay up throughout the day. Now for lips, I'm using this Peaches Makeup liner. I can't remember the shade name of this, but I will put it in the description box because it is beautiful, and I'm pretty sure this costs like £3. And it's amazing. I love it. They've come out with a beautiful range of like neutrals and browns. Now we're just going to top that off with Sosu by Suzanne Jackson. I hope I'm saying that right. There's a nude lipstick that they've used. Again, I'll put the shade down below, and then just topping that off with the NYX Madeline Madeline Butter Gloss. Again, my favourite nude if you're wanting to get a really nice lip. So as you can see, just showing my client the finished look, and although her face doesn't look it here, she was really happy with it, and I think that it complements her really well. It's very glowy. It's not too heavy and too drastic. She's a naturally beautiful girl anyway. She doesn't need it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. All of the products that I've used will be in the description box down below. If you do have any questions, please just let me know, and I will be doing plenty more client makeup tutorials in the coming weeks. Thank you, and don't forget to subscribe and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Thank you.